Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
All right, I've got a hand where I decided to run a bluff, and I wanted to get your commentary on it, given the line, stack sizes, stakes, all that stuff.
Okay.
So I think we're about 460 effective. It's a 2-5, 500 cap game.
Okay.
I'm in the cutoff, and there are several limpers, and it gets to the hijack who raises 25, which is a pretty standard open. I don't know. I mean, with that many limpers, maybe he makes it bigger, but the standard open. So I call with 4-4. The big blind calls. There are two other field callers. So we go 5 ways to a flop with a pot of 125.
Okay, just one quick thing. So 5 ways. One quick thing is that I would say that raise size is weakness. If literally 3 people limped in and he made it 25 and that's the standard open, that's usually not going to be a premium hand unless you think the guy's cagey enough where he's trying to induce somebody to 3-bet him, and I don't know how much that exists at 2-5, 500 cap. I mean, I'm not saying that, 4-4 is always a 3-bet. Obviously, you can call, but there might be some other hands that you might want to 3-bet here if you had something else. I don't think 25 here over 3 limps is necessarily going to be a big hand.
Right.
That's just something to say. So you call, goes 5 ways.
Right. And the flop comes 4 of spades, 8 of spades, and 3 of diamonds.
So you flop middle set here.
Middle set.
Okay.
And it actually checks all the way to me.
Okay.
So I decide to size it up a little bit, just to sort of charge any draws. And I bet 80.
Okay.
And we get the big blind calls.
Okay.
And then the MP3, one of the field limp callers, had called, and the original raiser, the hijack, fold.
So big blind calls, MP3 calls. Just out of curiosity, just so I can visualize this. So there were, 2 people not in the blind that had basically limped before that called the raise pre? Or were there 3 people?
Correct.
Were there 3 people to let who checked to the pre-flop raiser?
There would be 2 limp callers in the field.
Plus the blind, though. Plus the blind, too, right?
Plus the blinds, yeah.
So
the guy in the big blind is a regular who loves seeing flops, and he will, call one time and then fold out like he's not too concerning. He loves seeing flops.
The reason why I think that that's important is because when we talk about positional awareness, you have 3 natural checks to the pre-flop raiser. So that definitely is enough to make a good-sized bet here because those hands are entirely unknown. This is different than if the pre-flop raiser was first and then you had 4 checks and you were last to act. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you bet 80 and you get 2 calls. So the pot now is about 355 by my calculation.
Yeah, I think I've got 365, whatever. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. 365, you're right.
The turn comes 10 of spades.
Okay. So it brings in the front door flush draw.
Correct. It brings in the front door flush, correct. The big blind checks to the MP3.
Okay.
Who bets 110. For that price, I'm calling all day. I mean, it's a really small price relative to the pot size.
Sure, you're getting direct odds because you're getting over 4.5 to 1. If you've got 10 outs to fill, you only need 3.5 to 1. So even if there was no betting at the end, it's small enough to call. Plus, you still could easily have the best hand here too.
Right.
Okay.
I guess I kind of sense that maybe he had made a hand there. He's that villain is a older Asian gentleman who doesn't really get out of line. Pretty straightforward player. So I'm kind of calling to I've got a great price and I want to see if my hand improves. And the big blind folds out.
Okay.
So we're going to a river with a pot of about 585, I think.
Okay, and we do have awkward stack sizes sort of here because you've got maybe or effectively there's might be like 250 left. So definitely less than a half pot size bet at the end.
Totally. So that's
Yeah.
yeah. So this is where my thing comes in, right? So I'm actually now just watching the MP3, and I can't see the board.
Yep.
I just want to get as much info. And the river rolls off, and he.
Let me guess.
goes in-
Let me guess. Let me guess. It's a spade, and he checks to you.
and four it is. It's a
Yeah,
spade,
right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. My boy
Yeah.
Pete in the live chat knew where this going, and I knew where this was going too, because you said that about bluffing. So, what was exactly the river?
It was a queen of spades.
Okay.
It was a queen of spades.
Yep.
He checked quickly, didn't look too pleased with it, and so I look over and I look at the spades, and that was my decision time. Like, I'm losing if I check back, so I decided to shove. And
Hold on. Before you said
Go ahead.
so I mean the issue here is so he checks, and then we get to the whole adage of whether or not people. I feel like I love having the ace of spades here or the king of spades here and betting for value, although it's almost difficult for us to have those hands unless we somehow like bet like ace five. We had overlimped. Well, it's a raised pot, so it's really, really difficult for us to ever really arrive here with the ace of spades in our hand, a single ace of spades, because if you do the hand reading, if it was a limped pot, maybe. People in small stakes love to like call in this spot if they turn to flush. I mean, I've talked about this for years and years and years. They like to call to show the bad beat. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he has like 6-7 of spades, 9-6 of spades, jack high spades, jack nine of spades, if he turned to king jack of spades, I also think you have showdown value against a hand like 10-8, or I'm trying to think of something else that would go check call lead, like some hand that this guy thought he was playing for protection, like pocket nines or something like that. I mean, it's not like you need to bluff here to win. So you're just bluffing to get somebody off of a spade that looks like they basically... See, you beat pocket threes too, right? So,
Right.
you know, if you can't get a turned flush to fold here and you do beat some other hands, I do like a check back here on the river.
Mm-hmm.
So he checks and you move all in?
He checks, I move. I mean, I felt like he certainly had I mean, my sense was that he had a kind of a weaker flush, and I had to count on him to be good enough to fold it. It's a 2-5 game. Like, you're right. There's a lot of players who are just going to call if it's anything decent. He tanked for a long time. He counted the call out, and it left him less than 100 behind, and then he eventually lifted his cards up enough to show his wife sitting behind him and mucked him. And at that point, I just said, hey, did you turn the spades? And he said, yeah. And I had to show him the bluff. And he was a good sport about it, at least. But
did you ever get to see what he had or what flush he had?
No. But he later said he had like a 9 high flush. So, so I guess
It's very interesting the way that looks, because I would almost, if you look, this is a very interesting hand from the opponent's perspective. For the reason why, let's say that I had his hand and it was like 9-7 of spades and I didn't bet the flop and I bet the turn and you called and the river was the queen of spades. What flush do you have there that you're betting the river unless you turned it? Now, maybe you turned it, but a lot of times your bet all in is going to be indicative of a polarizing bet at that level. It's going to be the nut flush. A lot of people aren't going to move in with a king high flush. So when somebody raises to 25 pre-flop, are you calling with ace 5 offsuit, ace deuce offsuit? And the reason why it's only ace 5 and ace deuce offsuit is because, like, you bet the flop. I mean, you would have to have bet the flop with a hand, I guess you could have ace 10 with the ace of spades. You would either have to
or
bet
ace,
or
an
ace
8, maybe top pair with an ace of spades, maybe.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
a
like,
flop.
that's true, but are you calling with those hands pre? I mean, I would have to, like, really get a sense. If I was in your opponent's spot, I'd really have to study the board and look at it and say, like, do I think you're really a loose player where you're going to be calling pre with ace X off? Because that's what you're really representing. Or you slow played the turn with the nut flush. So, but then I'd have to say, what are you bluffing with on the river? And are you calling the turn without a spade? So it would probably be pretty close. He's getting 3-1, but it's just, I find it difficult for you to have what you're representing at the end.
Hmm.
Um,
That's a good insight. I mean, at that level, they're not really. I mean, he's pretty much just playing the strength of his hand. So I guess that's why I got it through. But that's a really good insight. Absolutely.
I mean, again, some people in the chat are saying I guess you could have ace queen ace jack with the ace of spades and take a stab at it on the flop, and that's possible. But I do think that
True.
you are polarized, and if I could deduce that you didn't have the ace of spades here, I might make the call in your opponent's position. Now, I don't think this guy's obviously thinking at that level. I just think that I probably wouldn't make that play because it's a counterfeited flush and people don't like to fold them that much. And I also
Yeah.
think that he's going to show up with like a lot. There are many more combinations of flushes that are closer to the nuts than suited connectors, like at 9 high. Like you'll see people play King X suited, Jack X
Hmm.
suited with more combos. Like someone's not going to play 9 deuce of spades as much as they're going to play like King deuce of spades for a limp call. So
Right.
they're going to be higher up in that spade range if they have a flush. So
That's good to know because I think if he had a jack or a king, I think he's definitely calling. So that's good to know. That's also a good insight.
right, and it makes no difference though too, and that's it's interesting that you say that, and I tend to agree with you. I just said it,
Hmm.
even though it doesn't make any logical sense. That's a good example
Right.
of like just because whether he's got the king high or the jack high and you're polarized, it makes no difference. The 9 high is the equivalent, but people don't. They're not at that level at
Hmm.
this limit. So,
Hmm.
anyways, thanks for the call. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.